Today's video isn't about a new episode of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, or the glamorous parties that fill Bravo's screens every week. It's about two people, Mauricio Umansky and Kyle Richards, who once stood as one of reality TV's most admired couples, and are now navigating a heartbreak that no one saw coming. Because behind the smiles, the glimmering diamond earrings, and the luxury real estate deals, lies a story of distance, rediscovery, and the painful question: when love fades quietly, can you ever truly get it back? In the world of reality television, Kyle Richards and Mauricio Umansky were the blueprint. She was the original Beverly Hills Diamond, witty, grounded, and fiercely loyal. He was the charming real estate mogul whose confidence and charisma made him the fan-favorite husband on rhobh. For over 25 years, they seemed unshakable. Hollywood's chaos didn't break them, the cameras didn't divide them, and even as their daughters, Farrah, Alexia, Sophia, and Portia, grew up before America's eyes, their marriage appeared like a safe haven in a storm of scandal. But by 2023, that illusion began to crack. It started quietly. A missed wedding ring here, a cryptic Instagram post there. Kyle, once open about every corner of her life, suddenly seemed distant, guarded. Mauricio, meanwhile, was busier than ever, building the agency empire, filming Buying Beverly Hills, traveling constantly. Fans noticed. So did her castmates. When Kyle began posting gym selfies and motivational quotes about self-growth and starting over, the internet went wild. Rumors about separation, infidelity, and emotional distance spread faster than wildfire across Bravo fan accounts. And while the couple initially downplayed the whispers, insisting they were simply working through a rough patch, it soon became impossible to hide the truth. On a quiet July afternoon, news broke. After 27 years of marriage, Kyle Richards and Mauricio Umansky had separated. The announcement wasn't a tabloid leak. It came straight from their hearts, in a joint statement that read, "We are not divorcing, but yes, we have had a rough year. Our love and respect for one another remain strong." For fans who had watched them grow from newlyweds to icons, it felt like the end of an era. For Kyle and Mauricio, it marked the beginning of something far more complicated, redefining love under the relentless spotlight. While rhobh kept rolling, their real lives did not follow a script. Mauricio dove deeper into work, juggling real estate deals and TV commitments, often away from home for weeks at a time. Kyle, on the other hand, started rediscovering herself. She leaned on her friends, particularly country singer Morgan Wade, and began exploring new passions. For the first time in decades, she wasn't defined as Mauricio's wife. She was simply Kyle, a woman in transition. The public, of course, had its own theories. Some said Mauricio's success changed the balance of their marriage. Others pointed to Kyle's emotional distance or her evolving friendships. But inside sources close to the couple told People magazine that it wasn't one big betrayal, it was 1,000 little moments of growing apart. When Mauricio finally addressed the split publicly, it wasn't on Bravo, it was on Dancing with the Stars. Yes, the real estate titan swapped open houses for open dance floors, joining the reality competition in 2023. At first, it seemed like a fun new chapter, but the audience quickly noticed something different: a man fighting to keep his balance, both literally and emotionally. In one touching rehearsal clip, Mauricio admitted, "This is the hardest time of my life. Kyle and I are separated, and it's been rough, but I'm dancing through the pain." That raw honesty hit fans deeply. Because beneath the professional smile and million-dollar suits was a husband who still loved his wife, even as their paths diverged. Meanwhile, Kyle was processing everything in her own way. She channeled her emotions into self-care and reflection, leaning on therapy, her daughters, and close friends. Her Instagram became a mosaic of independence, solo hikes, empowering captions, and new tattoos symbolizing transformation. During one rhobh confessional, she finally opened up. "People think they know what's happening, but only we do. I love Mauricio. I always will. But sometimes love looks different as you grow." Those words, simple yet heavy, summed up the heartbreak perfectly. It wasn't about betrayal, it was about evolution. And for many viewers, it made Kyle more relatable than ever before. Of course, no Beverly Hills story comes without gossip. Speculation about Kyle's friendship with Morgan Wade exploded across social media, spawning hundreds of TikToks dissecting every smile and lyric in Morgan's songs. Mauricio, for his part, faced his own wave of scrutiny, from rumors of flirtation on DDDKS to viral paparazzi photos in Aspen. But both continued to insist there was no villain here. Just two people figuring out life, publicly, imperfectly, and under a microscope. Still, that didn't stop fans from choosing sides. Team Kyle, Team Mauricio, Team Just Get Back Together. Every Bravo blogger, every entertainment outlet, every fan account had an opinion, but only Kyle and Mauricio knew what was truly happening behind closed doors. Through it all, one thing kept them grounded: their daughters. Farah, Alexia, Sophia, and Portia became their emotional anchors. On Buying Beverly Hills, viewers saw Farah's quiet concern, Alexia's loyalty to her father, and Portia's heartbreak seeing her parents drift apart. In one emotional confessional, Mauricio reflected, "I don't want my kids to see their parents give up. I want them to see us handle this with grace." And that's exactly what they did. No public feuds, no bitterness. Just love, reshaped. Time passed. Mauricio continued to film Buying Beverly Hills Season 2, balancing business and fatherhood. Kyle returned for another season of rhobh, this time more vulnerable, more self-aware, and unfiltered about her struggles. Her storyline wasn't about parties or drama anymore. It was about identity, healing, rediscovery. In one unforgettable moment, she told her castmates, "I've been married my entire adult life. I'm learning who I am on my own, and it's terrifying." Fans resonated with that deeply, because beneath the glitz and gossip, Kyle's journey mirrored the universal truth of heartbreak. Sometimes love doesn't end in a scream, it fades in silence. As 2024 unfolded, hope lingered. Mauricio and Kyle were still spotted together, family dinners, vacations, and even quiet coffee runs in Beverly Hills. When asked if reconciliation was possible, Mauricio smiled and said, "We love each other deeply. That hasn't changed. We're taking things day by day." Kyle echoed that sentiment in interviews. "We're still a family. We'll always be a family." And perhaps that's the truth most fans needed to hear. Love may evolve, but it doesn't always disappear. Their story is no longer about picture-perfect marriage or reality show fame. It's about two people who dared to grow, even if it meant growing apart. Mauricio found strength through vulnerability, proving that men can be open about heartbreak. Kyle found independence through pain, showing millions of women that reinvention has no expiration date. Together, they've rewritten what it means to love, not as husband and wife, but as partners in life's ongoing journey. And faith that somewhere between heartbreak and healing lies the courage to begin again. As the months rolled into 2025, something remarkable began to happen. The tension that once defined Kyle and Mauricio's story slowly softened into peace. They were no longer defined by separation headlines or fan theories. They were defined by growth. Mauricio, often photographed smiling again, poured himself into the agency's global expansion. He traveled from Dubai to Aspen, closing deals not just with confidence, but with clarity. Those close to him say he's more grounded than ever, a man who learned that success means little without emotional balance. Kyle, meanwhile, found her rhythm in solitude. She spent more time in nature, writing, and reconnecting with old friends. She even began filming new projects outside of rhobh, smaller, more personal ventures that reflected who she's become rather than who fans expect her to be. And perhaps the most beautiful part? They've managed to stay friends, real friends. At a recent Bravo event, the two arrived separately but shared a warm embrace backstage. No tension, no awkwardness, just two people who had lived, loved, and survived together. Witnesses described the moment as soft and genuine, a quiet reminder that endings don't have to be cruel. Scene 13, the quiet strength of letting go. There's something profound about the way Kyle and Mauricio handled their heartbreak. No screaming headlines, no messy public feuds, just grace. Because the truth is, sometimes love doesn't vanish, it transforms. It stops being about ownership and becomes about appreciation, about gratitude for the years shared and the memories built. In one of her most heartfelt interviews, Kyle said, "I used to think a successful marriage meant never separating. Now I think it means never losing respect." Those words echoed deeply through the Bravo universe, a rare moment of wisdom from a woman who has lived under public scrutiny for over a decade. And Mauricio? He summed it up simply in a podcast. "We may not be together in the same way, but we're still family. Always."